we'll start the episode now. En route is back. We're not gone. It's been like a month since we posted or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just busy.
Life.
Just life stuff is difficult. This is not an obligation for either of us. So realistically, like, we're gonna prioritize other stuff.
Unfortunately, one of the first things that gets cut when things get busy.
Well, easily, like, this is just like good fun and whatever. But yeah, it's the new year. It's 2026. That's a crazy year number.
I know.
It's crazy year number because we're graduating.
Yeah, for both of us graduating, which is insane. I was saying the other day, I still remember getting my 2022 high school email.
True.
And being like, dang, that's in so long.
And it wasn't so long.
It wasn't.
But
and now it's 4 years later than that. Like, jeez Louise.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird time to be us, I guess. Oh shit. We're actually en route right now. We're driving. What is going on right now?
That first podcast.
First podcast when we're actually in person and going somewhere. I don't know. Like, I think there's a couple things we could talk about. And I don't know how many we're recording right now. But we'll just kind of talk and see where it takes us. But at least I think it'd be cool to talk about things you're hoping for this year. Maybe like focus on yourself, and if you have any hopes for being online, doing whatever, this YouTube or some other YouTube. Yeah, I think focusing on that would probably be best, so that we're not exposing ourselves too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, well, to start with I guess this, I hope that we stay consistent. Obviously, we started this in summer? Probably June or July. So I guess we did it for half the year, but that means it was 26 weeks, and we probably have, what do we have?
Like 12?
10 or 12 episodes.
Yeah.
So roughly half, maybe. So I'm hoping
the summer was really rough.
Yeah, I'm hoping 2026 we can hit, I don't know, out of 52 weeks, like maybe 40 would be a good figure.
Yep.
So majority, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to be consistent. I think that both of us have said that being online is a space that, like, we want to be a part of. It's kind of like, in the modern day, why not? There's very few downsides. And for us, it's like a good way to stay talking.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah.
And then, let's see, we were talking about recording other videos. So I think, like, I would like to vlog some things this year.
Right.
Vlog some things, get better at video editing. My DaVinci Resolve skills are
lacking.
Are in the dumpster at the moment. Like, dragging in a song, like, trying to splice things, like, so confused. I really don't understand how people do, like, these, like, especially, like, not action, but, like, sports montages and things where everything's very fast moving, zoom in, zoom out. It's quite perplexing to me.
Time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the answer, is that they're just willing to spend a lot more time than I've been spending.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
you just passed a accident.
Four car collision, maybe?
That's crazy. I'm glad we were not there for that. That'd be a crazy podcast.
Jeez.
Could interview the police too. What do you think? What do you think, bro? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on 2026 online goals?
What are your online goals? What's a travel destination you're really passionate about?
Yeah, we should lock in on maybe our public interaction for en route. We can have a couple of set of key questions we want to ask guests on the pod.
Yeah, I guess on the pod would be good.
Yeah, maybe that's a good goal too. Maybe have a few guests en route.
We have a super easy one, just your brother.
Yeah.
Because you guys had like bike packing story.
Yeah.
Like we can tell the Fuji story.
Yeah. Gavin has double Fuji stories at this point.
That's true. He went Fuji again.
And like both. Well, his second one was honestly more eventful than the first one.
Well, yeah, because our first one was just going up.
It was just cranking.
Just going.
We went up Fuji, like one push, just like 3.5 hours to the top on the longest trail. It was was it 3? Yeah, like 3.5 up and then hour and a half. It was like 5 hours.
It was just ridiculous. Whenever we do that episode, I'm gonna pull up the Strava because it's just like ridiculous.
Yeah, we were cooking.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, I think that would be cool. I agree. I also think there's some potential. I mean, maybe a little less potential for like in-person stuff.
Right.
Due to
well, we've been.
We don't know like what we're gonna be doing in the fall. And
right.
all that.
But we have been debating.
It's true.
A road trip. We may be driving back from school.
That'd be huge.
So that would be great for Onward. Actually, we could film so many episodes.
We could
in the
literally
car,
be
bro.
set for like so long.
We could farm. Because our route. We'll take you through our route. Actually, we were just curating this the other day. So obviously start in Palo Alto area, and then we would be going from there to North Cascades as our first major stop. So we're thinking one push from the bay to North Cascades, which is really big. But it might be more like Seattle or wherever is convenient to stay for that night. Then we spend at least one day hiking North Cascades, sleep, drive again straight to Banff was our next stop, I believe.
Yeah, but like going through
like close to Vancouver, like through the road that takes you on Whistler, through Whistler and those mountain towns. So we go through there to Banff. After Banff, we would do Glacier. So, and each day we're basically hiking one day that's full just hiking, and then everything else is all the days in between are just like really grindy drive days, so that we mapped it out. It would be like 2 weeks if we split it like that, which is probably upper bound of how long we can spend just driving around.
Likely.
And it kind of depends on what we're both doing. So this is very unsure at the moment. But then from Glacier, we would hit Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And then from Yellowstone to Tetons.
Yeah.
And then Tetons to Badlands. Which is basically our final national park stop, and then we just huck it east really hard,
really fast,
cut like through Michigan Peninsula up to Canada to keep it more interesting than the Iowa route, and
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but like it looks pretty nice along the lake. We were doing some street view. So along the lake in like Michigan Peninsula and Canada, there seems, rural but nice. And then home from there through Toronto, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to Toronto, actually.
Me neither. So I've never been there.
That would be an interesting stop. And then, yeah, that would be that. It would be about 2 weeks. So that's on the table, which would be great for
it's possible
en route.
It'd be incredibly
We could
good.
certainly make that a goal. But yeah, there's a lot of moving variables. So
there's a lot of moving parts. Unsure if it's even doable at all. But for en route, this would be like
16-hour drive days and a lot of things to line up. But theoretically
months
possible.
And months worth of content.
Yeah,
it'd be crazy.
Yeah,
just podcasts alone would be.
Yeah, we could just talk for like 5 hours and then
because we have nothing else to do.
Yeah, so then we'll far surpass our 2026 goal for
episodes. Would if that happens. Yeah.
So yeah, that would be great. That would be super fun. I've actually always wanted to do something like that.
I've wanted to drive across the country for so long. It's like it's because it doesn't make like all that much sense for me to do just based on like I'd have to fly out to Stanford first.
Right.
But it sounds sick. I'll totally do it. It's just like, yeah, because I would have already been home for like a week or two by the time y'all are done.
Right.
But it's just, Yeah, when you proposed that to me, I was like, damn, that's so tempting.
Yeah, I know. So that would be cool. It's definitely a possible thing, but it depends on me and my brother and all of our schedules to line up and potential work. If I'm working, then I might be starting then, and then there's no reason to drive back. So yeah, all those things. But that could be a goal. Trying to think what else.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, with the channel, it's just, I'd say at this point, it's just like be consistent, you know?
Right.
Like, I don't think we don't like have any like big goals, like striving for anything specific. It's just like, just post, you know?
Right.
Like it's already kind of like funny to look back on the first episodes that we did. I don't know if you've done that, but
not too much.
It's just like it's just interesting to like hear yourself talking about certain topics. Not that I disagree with myself, but
yeah, I hope I stand by what I've said.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't really listened back to it. I don't really like hearing my own voice on recording.
That's fair. It is a little difficult.
Somewhat grating.
I've just gotten used to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But I should do that. Yeah, no, and I think that's kind of one of our original objectives with the podcast too. Is just like documenting us talking over a long time period and being able to have that as like an archive thing, and see, you know, maybe we do change over time, because we're bound to repeat some conversations
easily.
And so you'll see. I don't know. Do you stand by what you said? Hopefully. Well, maybe not. Depends on. Yeah. But so that's. Yeah, be consistent is big. I feel like also, not that we're shooting for the moon with viewership or anything, but I do think that like every time that I see someone that's successful online, it's like their one thing. It's like, just be consistent. So I do feel like that's a big first step for us to try and lock in on. And it's not a huge time commitment.
No, it really is not.
Especially like one a week. I mean, if you're doing like one a day, which is what other people sometimes do, then you're really cranking.
I think these are like long enough that really there's no point in doing one a day, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that's more the short form content. They're like, I put out 10 reels a day, every day for 2 years before I took off.
Oh my god, we have to. The thing, I hate making reels. I've made all of the reels on the channel. I actually despise doing it because like I know like the formula. It's just like I've done this for like maybe 1 or 2 of our reels. It's just like put some music or like a trending sound. They get like so many more views than the other reels. Even though I think a lot of the other reels are a lot funnier, just because the comedy is like what we say and what happens in the clip. But it's just the algorithm doesn't care about that. All it cares about is you put the trending sound in. It's crazy.
We're gonna have to start tossing in Subway Surfers on the bottom of the screen.
Like, I don't know.
If we want to take off.
But yeah, I despise making the reels, so it's just a little difficult to like.
Yeah, it's hard to get motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get onto my reels generation.
It's like boring. It's really boring.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's one of those things where like, that's something you always hear. I guess this is a semi-adjacent conversation, but I always see like these interviews with content creators, and people are like, there's a split on this. I feel like where some of them will be like, yeah, like I'm so lucky to be a content creator. Happens with streamers too. We'll be like, I'm so lucky, like it really is the best job. Like I can't complain. You know, sometimes it's boring, but then you get some of them that are like pretty adamant that it's like any other job. Which I don't know. I feel like to me, I'm more on the first side of things. Like I'm sure that there are monotonous or tedious aspects of the job, but at the end of the day, like relative to the majority of the population, you're still doing something that originally you did for enjoyment, which I think most people, their job is not necessarily something that they originally did for enjoyment.
Right.
Like, so I think that being like the basis of your of your occupation is certainly a good step. I mean, it's same with like professional athletics or anything, right? Like, I'm not saying that it's not difficult. It's surely difficult. And say you're a cyclist and you're doing 30 hours a week, I'm sure you got a lot of days where you wake up and you're like, geez, like I don't really want to do my 5-hour bike today. But that's still something that originally, you went out and woke up and did because you wanted to, not because anyone was forcing you. And that is a differentiating factor compared to just whatever, some office job that you originally hadn't had interest in. So yeah, I don't know. I do tend to think that these sorts of jobs that at least have roots and things that you care about are cognitively, or maybe not cognitively, like emotionally, mentally easier. To
must be mentally easier.
But yeah, not to say that they're easy.
No.
Easier. And we were just talking about actually with the whole travel thing, this being a dilemma where, we both are on the opinion that, of course, we're referencing these days, it seems to be that the travel influencers that are kind of pretty big on the platform are people who are, doing really good cinematography. Like the efforts are really impressive. Things really look good on camera. And you have a lot of these people who are, they're filming themselves. And so what that entails is setting up a camera. You're on a hike, setting up a camera, walking for 100 meters, going back, checking the shot. It wasn't good enough, doing it again. And, even doing that in cities, you look like a dork maybe, or like your things might get stolen. All of these risks, and they're kind of impactful to both of us want to travel somewhat authentically and like live in the moment. But then there's this debate of, okay, but would you sacrifice some of that authenticity to then have it be your occupation so you can do it much more often? I think both of us are probably yes, but the risk is that you don't know whether you're going to succeed, and so it's like very difficult to then be like, what if you sacrifice your 5 vacations, your 5 next vacations? Like, I mean, it's not sacrifice, but you slightly hinder or affect your 5 next vacations with these filming efforts, and then nothing takes off, and you're just left having altered your vacations, maybe in a slightly harmful way.
It's even like, because what a lot of other people do is they vlog, and vlogging is like, it depends on the situation. I think it can be pretty intrusive, but at the same time, it can also kind of be like a fun little thing to do while you're traveling. I wouldn't say it's as annoying as being cinematic about your travel experience and like documenting your life that way. Because realistically, all you're doing is talking to a camera in front of you, and that can be your phone or like a GoPro or like an Insta360.
Right.
And like they're pretty small, and so like it's a little less awkward than carrying around like a large camera and putting a tripod down and whatever. It's not as heavy. It's just not gonna have as much impact on your travel. But yeah, I think like you were saying, like the success really seems to be on those. I'm gonna turn around here. The success really seems to be on those people that are like willing to be like cinematic about it. And put in that effort, which is also like on top of just being impactful to your experience, it's a lot of effort to do. Like you have to get really good at cinematography, editing, color grading, all that kind of stuff. It's a chore for real.
Right.
But if that was the occupation, if that was like the whole thing, like surely that's pretty good. Like,
yeah,
surely that's better than sitting in an office. At least for me.
No, 100%. But like I said, it's just this tricky thing where it's like you don't know if it's gonna succeed, and in order to succeed, you kind of need to put in the effort first, which is the gamble.
Right.
And so yeah, and then with the vloggers, I think we were talking about, some vloggers are successful. I see people like Mike OK on YouTube, or like there's a guy Harry Jaggard, or a couple other ones, and they tend to be people that go to uncommon destinations. So Western China, Northeast India, random countries in Africa, places that people are kind of interested in seeing. People aren't really looking for a Paris vlog.
Yeah.
They could find that in a million locations, but maybe, we were talking about how Kyrgyzstan has been really popping recently in social media. And, that's how those sorts of things take off. It's because some guy goes there. It's an untapped market in terms of media or content creation. They go, they show that it's beautiful, there's cool things to do, and it's kind of untamed, so you can get that original traveler experience of not having a lot of foreigners around or whatever that might be, and then make this content, and then anyone who's at all interested in Kyrgyzstan goes onto YouTube, searches it up, and there's one dude who's made a video, and it kind of explodes, and then there's like a flywheel there, and eventually you have a lot of people doing it. Which is the case for Kyrg and Mongolia, what I've seen recently. But these sorts of travelers are vloggers, a little bit less cinematography effort. But what they do is they're very, very tapped into the vlogging in conversation, which would be a difficult thing for me. And it's not to say that they don't have good conversations because of it. In fact, they have these really in-depth conversations. They meet a ton of people, more than I would do traveling, which I admire. But they do have to have this very non-existent sense of almost like embarrassment or whatever it might be, because they're in a conversation. Say they're talking with someone in a different language or whatever, and they're talking to them, and then mid-conversation, they just flip the camera to themselves, and they're like, so guys, this is their this, this is their this, and it's like, this is the middle of the conversation with a random person that you just met. Like, I would personally feel very uncomfortable flipping the camera around to talk to the audience in the middle of a conversation with someone that I just met. And so that's the challenge there. It's really letting go of that social embarrassment factor and just, focusing on the audience rather than the conversation, or being able to focus on both is a very learned skill.
Right.
And so in terms of creating content, those are kind of the two niches that you can fall into. It seems right now to become popular. I guess there's a whole other debate of with anything like this, once something becomes popular, is it the best idea to follow the other people in the space, or maybe do something new and creative? But I don't know what you could do outside of those two regions.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for us, we're not really looking to do either one of them specifically. And then we're definitely not looking to just be here are the top 10 things you can do here or whatever. That's
right.
One, I don't think we're interested in doing that. Two, I just think it's so overdone. There's really no point in doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it better than the people who do it already. So so we haven't obviously not made any travel content, and unsure if we will. There's a possibility we can with the road trip, but I'd say we'd probably be aiming for something a little different than what most people do, I guess, or at least what is popular.
Yeah, some sort of, obviously we're coming from a very conversational background when we're starting, so some sort of combination of us traveling and having these sorts of conversations along the way, en route, if you will. But I guess we're just gonna see how it progresses.
Pretty much, yeah. I guess for myself, I've also wanted to post more things just on my own. Not necessarily vlogs or anything, but I've always been into the idea of a video essay or sort of that kind of content. I don't know. It's a lot of work, especially when we're in school. So it feels like a lot of work.
Yeah, all the things that are completely not required are often feel like a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so that is a big limitation. But I think for me, what I feel most comfortable with, I'm fine with vlogging on individual excursions. So in terms of personal content, I'm pretty good with things vlogging athletic things where you're alone or with one other person, and then you don't run into that barrier of recording all these sorts of interactions.
Yeah.
And it also serves as kind of like a nice break. Like you're on a run, you want to pause for a second at the top of the hill, you just record a little video. But yeah, it's also becoming more comfortable on camera, talking naturally, which I think that, we're not on camera, I guess, but just recording yourself. So like this is good practice for.
True.
I know that me personally, I use a lot of filler words still.
Oh, I definitely do as well.
Which I need to get better about. I mean, that's not even just recording. That's just in my life, I think.
Speech in general.
Yeah. So.
I think there was like one episode where, I forget which one it was, but I really, when I was listening back to it, to edit it, I was super locked into every time we said like. We were spamming like it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I say like a lot.
I say like a lot.
I really
as well. And you don't realize it at all, which is why it's a filler word.
Right.
But it is like,
No, that's a skill.
It's a skill to not say it. And honestly, if you just pause a little more, it helps a lot. But it feels wrong.
Yeah, getting comfortable with the empty space, I think, is a good attribute. But it certainly is difficult because you're saying something and then all of a sudden you stop and you run out of words to say. And all you want to do is fill the empty space. You feel so uncomfortable with the silence.
Your brain knows it's going to be half a second before it figures out the next thing. So
right, so you're just throwing a like.
Just throwing a like.
And
But
yeah, hopefully the people listening will be able to tell that we'll progress a little bit.
Most people on podcasts also spam like. This is like a normal human speech thing.
It's not a presentation also. It's more of a conversation.
Yeah, it's a conversation. We're not like doing a history podcast about a specific event.
Right.
Per se, yeah.
And so I think it's unavoidable to have some of these
easily gonna have it. Yeah.
Things in your speech patterns when you're just talking.
But doing it does, because the podcast isn't exactly normal speech.
Right. I definitely have like a slight podcast mode.
Yeah, it feels weird. Or maybe it doesn't feel weird, but it's very different. It's hard to explain. There's something about knowing that it's going to be posted, that it's being recorded.
No, certainly. And
your brain just locks in a little bit.
Yeah, and you feel like you're talking to another person. It's like
who's
obviously
not here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who's not here. Like, especially this in person, it's like when we're recording, it's one thing, but this in person, it's like we're sitting next to each other.
It almost feels the same.
You feel like you're talking to some sort of third party.
Yeah, it almost feels the same as online, which is very strange.
Right. We're literally just sitting next to each other. And yet it feels like you're just kind of separated in that way. And I don't know if that's, I mean, I'm sure it's natural, but I'm not sure if that's endgame. Maybe as we do it more, you somehow get more used to just feeling like you're talking to the other person. I don't know if that's desirable.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, something I think would be cool is like, I can visualize it, is just like on a hike and you got like an Insta360 and it's just in front of you the whole time and you just do the podcast while hiking. Like that'd be so good.
That would be fine.
So then I can just hike and like I guess I have to hold the camera, but like that's not that bad, especially in a lot of sections of hiking. It's fine.
Right, or I'm sure you could. I guess the view's maybe not as good, but you could put it on like a backpack or something, some sort of pole.
Yeah, you could put it on the backpack, but I think if you have the in front, you can see both people.
Yeah, it's fair. And yeah, talking while hiking, like long form things, is a pretty good way to pass the time.
Hiking, you already talk in general. That's just what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but it's really interesting that I find it so much easier to talk to people during physical activity than sitting face to face. So like, for example, it's pretty common that I run with people, not common, but somewhat frequent that I run with people who I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm back in town and someone I haven't seen in a year is back for Christmas break or something. And they reach out and you run, and this is a person that you know, but maybe you don't know that well. You've only run with them a couple times, and you go on this run, and it's just an hour where you have to talk to this person. Like you can't be awkward. You can't cut it short. Like, sometimes it's an hour and a half. Like you have to be conversational.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I somehow just do, and it's really something you don't think about. Like it's very infrequent. I find that I'm on a run and I'm at a loss for words or feeling awkward or anything like that. But in more formal settings, like go to a cafe or whatever, it starts to get a little bit more difficult. I don't know if it's just that maybe the empty space feels. They might come back to this empty space concept where the empty space feels a lot less imposing when you're on a run because you're doing another activity. So you're both maybe just subconsciously you're very okay with having 5 seconds where you don't talk. Whereas if you're just sitting at the cafe and looking at them, it's like, okay, 5 seconds might feel a little bit weird.
It will definitely feel a little weird.
So yeah, I don't know if it's that or what it is. But for example, last year I ran with someone who I had only run with maybe once or twice in my life before, and had only met maybe a couple more times than that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And they just like reached out on Instagram, was like, hey, I'm in the area, like, it's not often that someone's at Stanford, so
right.
I was like, oh yeah, let's totally go for a run. And we went for a run and got lunch after. But it's kind of like you break the ice with this run in this setting that's a lot easier to have a conversation in, for me at least. And then afterwards you have lunch and you've already been chatting for a while, so it's kind of, you're used to it and the conversation flows easier. But yeah, so these sorts of activity things, maybe just because I grew up doing it, I grew up, we used to do these things when I was a kid we called them the death slog. And it was in the White Mountains, and it was like a couple families. My family joined a year or two in, but
death slog.
Very dramatic.
Yo, kids, we're going to the death slog.
Very dramatic, but it would be like 3 or 4 days hiking hut to hut in the White Mountains. And we're pretty young.
Right.
I don't know, 10, 12 years old. And it would be 10 plus mile hikes, which, and now that I've been a runner for a long time, 10 miles feels very not crazy at all. But 10-mile hike on technical terrain is decent. You know what I mean?
10-mile hike's pretty decent.
And we got packs. You're packing everything for 4 days, so you've got weight. It's New England hiking, which can be a lot of scrambling. So they were pretty gnarly, and so that's one of the early settings that I got used to, just talking while doing these activities, because that's what you have to do on the mountain. You just have to be present and talk. Your phone's in your backpack maybe, or maybe you're using it to take pictures, but you have no service. Yep. So there's no Instagram Reels. Like, there's none of that. You just have to be there and look around and
it's also
talk
2010,
to the people.
so there's no...
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I grew up doing. And one of the things that would happen is one of the dads that was on these would tell these stories. He's really into James Bond. And so he would tell kind of James Bond inspired stories that he would, I think some of them were maybe like lore accurate, if you will, and then some of them were completely curated and made up. But yeah, so it'd be, an hour or 2 hours of just listening to someone tell a story, which is a pretty uncommon thing to do in our lives. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really happen where one person is talking to you and you're just listening and you're paying attention the whole time.
And they're there physically.
Right, yeah. And they're there physically. Like, you're paying attention the whole time to someone telling a story. That's kind of an ancient concept.
Yeah.
No, I think that used to be a big thing in medieval times or whatever. You would have a jester or some person, whatever. Or just, even 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I think it was more common to have
like campfire story or something.
Right, exactly. Campfire stories, etc. But nowadays, I can't remember the last time that I was in a setting like that.
Right.
And so it's pretty interesting. But that's how I, grew up listening to things. And so now like I said, it's a very comfortable setting for me. So I think that a podcast, for example, while hiking
Makes total sense.
it really makes a lot of sense.
I really, I mean, they might exist. I don't know. Maybe they're not that big, but I feel like I should have seen it by now. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure if I look it up, there will be some videos.
I'm sure there'll be something that would be similar,
but certainly nothing well established.
Nothing that's kind of made it super well established and has made that be like the main part of their brand. So there's a gap. Yeah.
Market fit analysis.
Unfortunately, it's winter right now. It'd be kind of miserable to go hiking, but it would have.
But yeah, I think it's honestly a good idea because, people like to listen to podcasts to kind of relax. And I think it could be the sort of thing where you just have the video on, you're like primarily listening, maybe there's some background noise that's like chill nature noise. You hear the birds chirping or a stream or something. And if they do look at the screen, it's like Insta360 view of, beautiful mountains or, I feel like it's a very calming, relaxing thing, which is kind of the goal. It's just for podcasts to be something that you can listen to
while not thinking about it.
Yeah, like zone out.
Yeah.
Ambient noise, relax. Kind of have it in your subconscious. And so, but yeah, maybe that's a goal for 2026.
Could be a goal
to kind of try and enter that space and film something of that kind. Yeah.
That's why if we make any money from this thing, God's gonna buy it for 360 for sure. That's the first purchase.
Yeah, I think all money from this.
If I don't buy one first,
all money from this ever generated from this will go back into the.
It will go into.
Go back into filming it. Go back into traveling to the places
highly
to film
likely,
it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the goal.
That's kind of the goal. Is just. Even like a little bit.
Yeah, any sort of supplemental income to do something that we like travel, is more than we could ever ask for.
Pretty much. But yeah. So we have some goals for 2026. And I guess we'll see you in the next one. Because we're actually going to be consistent this time. For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
At least 40 of 52.
Every week in a row. All right. Bye, guys.